You ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? Or open the fridge and wonder what you were looking for? Don't worry, you're not alone. It happens to all of us. But once we hit our 60s, those little slips can feel a bit more unsettling. Suddenly, it's not just a funny moment, it's a quiet whisper in the back of your mind. Is this just aging? Or is something else going on? That's exactly why we're having this conversation today. Because the truth is, memory changes are a natural part of getting older, but that doesn't mean there's nothing we can do about it. In fact, your brain is always capable of growth and improvement, no matter your age. It's like a garden. If you plant the right seeds and care for them daily, amazing things can grow, even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. So today, we're going to talk about simple, doable habits that you can start right now to protect and even boost your memory. No complicated routines, no expensive supplements, just everyday things that make a real difference. And I promise these tips aren't about turning you into a brainiac. They're about helping you stay sharp, independent, and confident as you continue living a full, beautiful life. Let's begin with one of the most underrated yet powerful habits you can build, and that's staying mentally active. You see, your brain loves to be challenged. It thrives on new information, puzzles, and curiosity. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Now, I'm not talking about going back to school or solving advanced calculus problems. It can be as simple as doing a crossword puzzle with your morning coffee, picking up a new hobby like painting or photography, or even learning a few words in a new language. Ever wanted to learn how to say good morning in Italian? Buongiorno. There you go. You've already started. But here's the key. The activity has to be new and a little bit challenging. If it's something you've done a million times, it won't stretch your brain in the same way. So mix it up. Read a different genre of book. Try cooking a recipe from a country you've never been to. Even switching up your routine, like brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, can create new neural pathways. And those pathways, they're like little highways that keep your memory and thinking skills sharp. Now, while keeping your mind active is crucial, it works best when paired with another habit that many people overlook: getting enough quality sleep. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. During sleep, your brain clears out waste, organizes memories, and recharges for the day ahead. Imagine trying to organize a cluttered room without turning on the lights. That's your brain without sleep. It just can't do its job properly. As we age, though, sleep patterns often change. You might find yourself waking up more in the middle of the night or feeling tired earlier in the evening. That's normal, but we have to adjust accordingly. Create a calming bedtime routine. Maybe turn off screens an hour before bed and instead listen to calming music or read a light book. Keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and cozy, and try going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends. That rhythm trains your body and brain to settle into a deeper, more restorative sleep. Oh, and if you're tossing and turning at night thinking about everything from your grocery list to that old friend you haven't called in a while, keep a notepad by the bed, write it down. Get it out of your mind so you can rest. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's essential for memory, focus, and emotional health. Now, while we're talking about recharging your brain, there's another habit that people often forget: connecting with others. You may not realize it, but having meaningful conversations, laughing with friends, even chatting with the person behind you at the grocery store, all of that boosts your brain health. Why? Because social interaction stimulates multiple parts of the brain at once. Memory, language, emotional recognition. It's all working when you're engaged with someone. And let's be honest, after 60, friendships can sometimes fade. People move, routines shift, or we get caught up in our own worlds. But making the effort to stay socially connected is one of the best things you can do for your mind. Call that old friend you've been meaning to catch up with. Join a local club or group that interests you. Even volunteering just a few hours a week can bring a whole new layer of connection to your life. And if you're thinking, well, I'm more of a private person, that's okay too. Socializing doesn't mean you need to host big dinner parties. It could be as simple as having regular conversations with your grandkids, your neighbors, or the cashier you see every Thursday. It's about keeping your mind in motion through human connection, and, hey, sometimes just listening, really listening, to someone else's story can fire up your brain in ways you didn't expect. So, we've touched on keeping your brain active, getting good sleep, and nurturing those all-important social ties. Each one might seem small on its own, but together, they create a powerful shield against memory loss and cognitive decline. You don't need to wait until you forget where you put your keys for the third time today to start making changes. These habits aren't just about remembering names and dates. They're about protecting your independence, your confidence, and your joy for life. Now that we've laid this strong foundation, let's continue exploring more habits that can keep your mind sharp and your days full of clarity and purpose. So we've already planted some of the seeds for a stronger memory, challenging the brain with new activities, getting restful sleep, and staying connected to the people around us. But now, let's take a look at something that affects your memory in more ways than most people realize: movement. Yes, we're talking about physical activity. Now, before you sigh and think, "I'm not cut out for the gym," don't worry, this isn't about lifting heavy weights or running marathons. It's about simply getting your body moving in a way that feels good and doable for you. Even something as gentle as walking, stretching, or dancing in the kitchen to your favorite oldies can have an incredible effect on your brain health. Here's why. When you move your body, you increase blood flow to the brain. That brings oxygen and nutrients that your brain needs to thrive, and it doesn't stop there. Regular movement also encourages the growth of new brain cells and improves the connections between them. So in a way, moving your body actually helps your brain grow. Isn't that amazing? Even 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a difference. You could walk to the mailbox and take the long way back. You could do a few gentle stretches while watching TV, or take a short stroll after dinner. If you enjoy gardening, that counts too. The point is, movement doesn't have to be formal or structured. It just needs to become part of your day. And if you're able, adding a bit of balance or coordination, work like Tai Chi or even light yoga, can give your brain an extra boost. These activities require your mind and body to work together, which helps keep both in sync. Plus, they reduce stress, which, let's be honest, is something we all need a little help with sometimes. Speaking of stress, that brings us to the next powerful habit: managing mental clutter. Think of your brain like a desk. When it's clear and tidy, you can find what you need in an instant. But when it's overflowing with papers, to-do lists, worries, and old memories you haven't let go of, it becomes harder to focus and remember things. That's why it's so important to take time each day to quiet the noise. This can be different for everyone. For some, it might be a few minutes of deep breathing in the morning, eyes closed, just focusing on the breath. For others, it might be a walk in nature, journaling at the end of the day, or even prayer or meditation. Whatever helps you center yourself, do that. When we give the brain a break from constant input and distractions, it becomes more efficient at storing and retrieving memories. It's like giving your computer a chance to update and refresh. And don't underestimate the power of quiet moments. Just sitting outside, listening to the birds, feeling the breeze, and letting your thoughts come and go, that counts too. You don't have to be a meditation expert. You just have to give yourself permission to pause. And while we're talking about what we feed our minds, we can't forget what we feed our bodies. The next memory-boosting habit that often gets overlooked is eating for brain health. Now, I'm not saying you need to go on a strict diet or count every calorie. That's no fun. But the truth is, what you eat plays a huge role in how your brain functions, especially as you get older. The good news is, many of the best brain foods are probably already part of your diet or easy to add. Think colorful fruits and vegetables, especially berries and leafy greens. They're loaded with antioxidants that help protect your brain cells. Healthy fats from things like walnuts, avocados, and olive oil help your brain stay flexible and quick. And omega-3 rich foods like salmon or flax seeds, they help support memory and focus. Try replacing processed snacks with a handful of nuts, or adding a few slices of avocado to your breakfast. Drink more water throughout the day, and if you enjoy a cup of coffee or tea in the morning, great. Just go easy on the sugar and cream. Little swaps can lead to big results over time. And here's something that might surprise you. Eating with others can actually be good for your brain too. Sharing a meal isn't just about food, it's about connection, laughter, and joy. When you eat with others, you engage in conversation, you laugh, you remember stories, and all of that fires up the brain in powerful ways. So now you've got these habits: moving your body, managing stress, and eating for brain health, all coming together like pieces of a puzzle. Each one supports the other, and none of them require a drastic lifestyle change. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. It's about building small rituals into your daily life that you actually enjoy. Because memory support shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel like you're taking care of yourself, gently, in a way that brings you peace and joy. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, remember this: you don't need to do everything at once. Just start with one habit. Maybe you begin by walking around the block after lunch. Or maybe you swap your usual afternoon cookie for a few berries and almonds. Those small steps? They count, they add up, and most importantly, they work. Let's keep going, because there are a few more memory-boosting habits that might surprise you, but could make all the difference. You've come this far, and by now you might already be thinking about which small changes you're going to try first. And that's wonderful, because even just thinking about your brain health is already a step in the right direction. But before we wrap things up, there are still a couple more powerful habits I want to share with you. Ones that often go unnoticed, yet can have a lasting impact on your memory and overall well-being. Let's talk about something that might sound simple at first. Curiosity. Yes, being curious, asking questions, and learning something new every day. You see, the brain is a lot like a muscle, and it thrives on being challenged and stretched in new ways. When you stop learning, you start losing little pieces of your mental sharpness over time. But the opposite is also true. When you feed your curiosity, even in small ways, you help your memory stay sharp and active. And here's the beautiful part. Learning doesn't mean going back to school or taking a test. It can be as easy as watching a documentary that fascinates you, trying out a new recipe, or even picking up a hobby you've always wanted to explore but never had the time for. Maybe you've always wanted to learn a few words in Italian, or figure out how to grow your own herbs on the windowsill. That's all brain-boosting stuff. Every time you step outside your usual routine and try something new, your brain creates new pathways, little highways of connection that help keep your memory sharp and flexible. Even reading a book you've never read before, or learning to use a new app on your phone, can fire up your brain in powerful ways. The key is to stay curious. Wake up and ask yourself, what's something new I can discover today? That little question alone is a habit worth building. Now, we've talked a lot about what you can do for your brain, but let me tell you about one more habit that's just as important: being kind to yourself. You see, memory slips happen to everyone. You walk into a room and forget why you're there. You can't recall a name right away, or you misplace your glasses for the third time that week. That doesn't mean your memory is failing. It means you're human. The danger is not in the occasional forgetfulness. It's in how you respond to it. If you beat yourself up, call yourself slow, or start worrying that every little slip means something worse, you create stress. And stress, as we mentioned earlier, is one of the fastest ways to cloud your thinking and disrupt memory. But when you respond with patience and humor, when you say, there I go again, with a little smile instead of frustration, you reduce that stress and protect your brain. So the next time you forget something, take a breath. Give yourself the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend, because it really does make a difference. Being gentle with yourself also means allowing rest, not pushing too hard, and understanding that slowing down isn't the same as giving up. It's okay to take things at your own pace, and the more you do, the more energy you'll have for the things that do matter, like connecting with loved ones, enjoying your hobbies, and remembering life's most precious moments. Now let's take a moment to pull all of this together, not in a list or a summary, but in a way that really speaks to what matters. You've got a brain that's still capable of growing, adapting, and thriving. Yes, even now, even at this stage of life. You've got the power to feed it with movement, nourish it with good food, calm it with rest, and stretch it with new ideas. You can surround it with laughter and love, protect it with boundaries and peace, and lift it with curiosity and kindness. And you don't need to do it all at once. You can start today with just one small thing. Maybe take that walk, call a friend, try a crossword puzzle or a new book, choose water instead of soda, breathe deeply for a few minutes before bed. These are not grand, sweeping gestures, but they are powerful habits that grow stronger over time. The journey to protecting your memory and staying sharp after 60 isn't about perfection. It's about intention, about choosing every day to do something that supports your future self, and believe me, that future self will thank you. Every step you take is like planting a seed for a brighter, more connected, more joyful tomorrow. You deserve that. You deserve to feel confident in your mind, to enjoy your memories, and to stay present for all the beautiful moments still ahead. So if this video resonated with you even just a little, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What habits are you already doing? Which one would you like to try? And if you found this helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That way, we can keep bringing you more content to help you live your healthiest, happiest life, no matter your age. Remember, it's never too late to start taking care of your brain, and it's never too early to believe in your own potential. So here's to you, to your health, to your memory, and to the bright, beautiful journey ahead. Here's to living your best life at any age.